Hi, everyone. I'm very excited to be in Manchester once more. Last year, I was speaking on behalf of my previous employer, which was a bank. Unfortunately, this year, I'm doing something much more interesting. So I work for a blockchain company now, and well, we have built a lot of case studies to explain people how blockchain will affect their industry. So I wanted to know more about how it will affect our industry, and I put this together with the help of some of my colleagues. And I hope it's not too boring. So a little bit of me. I was born in the same city of Che Guevara, which is very fascinating. Sure, you all wanted to know that. And I live in Manchester. I live in London because in 1997 I saw Spice World, and I thought it would be a great city to live. And I also made a slide about that. It's my slide about Spice Girls. OK, this is going great, guys. Better and better. So I had a slide about Spice Girls. Actually, I don't know if this is the most up-to-date deck now. It's fine. We will continue as if you had seen the slide about Spice Girls and everything was going great. So today we're going to talk a little bit about blockchain basics because it's a hot topic and people speak about blockchain and cryptocurrency indistinctively, like if it was the same thing, and I would like to explain a bit more about that, some predictions and some challenges. Please mind, this is not the most up-to-date presentation, so we will do what we can. And I'm sure you have heard about Bitcoin. Has anybody not heard about Bitcoin? That's what I thought. So it's money online, guys. And a lot of people use the concepts cryptocurrency and blockchain interchangeably, which is kind of difficult to say in English. Interchangeably. Imagine everything's going great. So we'll explain the difference between both. So cryptocurrency is an asset, is a mean of exchange. You can exchange value with it, right? For example, you can buy a phone with Bitcoin, and it's the only thing you can do with Bitcoin, to buy stuff. There's nothing else than that. Now, with blockchain, what you can do is everything, actually. With technologies such as Ethereum, you can code. That is to say that you can build a bank, a game, or anything you want on blockchain. And many blockchains are open source, are programmable, and they help you to build decentralized applications. And my favorite example is Ethereum, because I work for Ethereum, and I would like to keep my job. Yeah. So Bitcoin is the most popular cryptocurrency, and Ethereum is the most popular blockchain technology, according to the numbers of developers that there are out there. So well, maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it does. And I have a joke about blockchain now. So the buzzword of the decade, guys, everybody's talking about blockchain, even my mom. Blockchain and artificial intelligence are two words that whenever you don't know how to justify something, just say them and it will look like it all makes sense. So a little bit more about blockchain. So, or the benefits of blockchain, which are the benefits that then I will apply to this presentation. So blockchain is like a distributed ledger. Not exactly a distributed ledger, but for the sake, to keep things simple, let's pretend it's a distributed ledger. So all participants have autonomy. And imagine that we have a spreadsheet, and we all have a copy of this spreadsheet, and it's our duty to maintain it collaboratively. And each of us who has this spreadsheet will refer to each other as nodes. So everybody who participates in this system is a node, and there are no intermediaries. There is no users with more authority than others, and we all keep this system in a collaboratively way. another word that I have some difficulty to pronounce in English, but let's pretend that everything is going great. So the most important thing here is no authority. This is a decentralized system, and we'll see the benefits of this. So, trustless system because we don't have intermediaries. All the changes are recorded. Also, as I said before, it's decentralized, it's that word. And because it's decentralized, it's extremely unlikely to be hacked. Also, the new web, the Web 3.0, will be probably founded on blockchain. So let's see how it is. Before you say, oh, this will never be applied, nobody's using this right now, actually, there is a lot of people using it. And if you go to this website, which is the website of my company, we have a lot of use cases for different industries, such as banking, finance, energy, and education, among others. So there is a lot of opinions about blockchain. Actually, if we look at this, there is only one positive opinion, and all the others are negative. So very promising. Definitely a very promising industry. Now, what I think is that blockchain will have a very deep impact in internet. It will change the internet as we know it. And it will also change search engines as we know them today. And the new web, the Web 3.0, we will refer to this as the decentralized web. So now, how will blockchain transform our industry? These are 4 predictions that I put together with some colleagues and some futurists, some developers, and some marketing people that work with me. So first of all, ad prevention. I know that there are several talks about ads today, and I wanted to express that, yeah, online advertising sucks. But why does it suck? I mean, the problem with online advertising is that it's governed or is controlled by 3 big companies, which is Facebook, Google, and Amazon. These 3 form a triopoly, and they're different technologies don't integrate. It's very hard to follow up with a user that goes from platform to another platform. The costs are very high, and it's highly fragmented. So this makes this technology very likely to be to suffer frauds. And that's why we need to prove we are not robots all the time with images of buses and traffic lights, right? So advertising fraud is a very, very big issue. It costs a lot of money, and beyond paid search, it also affects organic search, because more than 50% of clicks are fake of every website. So what you're seeing right now on your website, half of them don't exist. It's just spam and bots. So there are some numbers of players that are already trying to mend this situation, which is, for example, IBM and Microsoft and the International Advertising Bureau. So something that I think is quite innovative, I mean, if we had, this is the current system, right? We have Google saying what is valid and what is not. Now, if we run this on a blockchain system, we wouldn't have an intermediary such as Google, and it would be much easier to verify the validity of clicks. So we wouldn't have the big problem we have with ad fraud. So how is this going to happen? I have seen these 2 schema tags, markup tags, to identify who is a real user. I mean, at the end of the day, the problem is that we cannot differentiate humans from robots or human from bots. So the first schema tag is for user ID profiles. Ideally, we want to see if there is a real person behind the the browser, right? And I have prepared really nice slides, which I don't know if they will appear now or not, so bear with me. So if you would like to take, here's the code. So what the code is requesting is a blockchain ID and the public chain, which are part of your blockchain identity. So we have, this is not available in Chrome at the moment and on more commercial browsers. But if you go to MetaMask or Brave, which are two fairly new browsers which have crypto wallets, you'll be able to have your public keys. And this is closer to detect if you are a real person or not. Why? Because public keys could be, we can use systems such as UPort or 3box, which are blockchain verification system to prove that the ID corresponds to a real user. And I'm going to be talking about these two technologies a little bit later today. So yeah. Here we have a schema markup for blockchain certificates. So what is this? This is to verify that an institution, let's say like a company or a university or whatever, actually exists. It's a real, it's a real company. It's not a fake news, let's call it. So we have here a tag for real people and a tag for companies to get rid of all the fakes that are out there. Good. So what does this mean for you? So first of all, I think it would be scary to imagine that your website or your client's website from one day to the other, or actually in a gradual process, could have 50% less traffic. But on the other hand, we could say, okay, this is less traffic. These numbers have been augmented for a number of years erroneously. So at least we have less traffic, but of real people, and we will know our customers better. And also, I think there is a big implication with these two schema tags that might become very useful in the future to verify ourselves and to verify the third parties or the companies any website that is operated by companies, by universities, by institutions, most of them are likely to implement these tags to verify themselves. Cool. Moving forward, one of the most interesting things in blockchain is the rise of data sovereignty, which is something that the movie, The Big Hack, The Great Hack, actually, which is on Netflix, has sort of accelerated the discussions within data sovereignty, like who does our data belong to? And Yuval Noah Harari, who is the author of Sapiens and also the author of 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, has a very interesting quote saying that we have given our most personal belonging, which is personal data, in exchange of cat videos. Right? The most important thing we can give to a company, we gave them for free. And what we can see here is that if Google, Facebook, Amazon were meant to buy this data, how much would it cost to them? All of these things that we could give them for free, or to use Gmail, or to watch YouTube, which is a lot. And what do they do with the data? Well, you might be aware that not a lot of good things, right? All of these companies have been, make the news mostly every day for the horrendous handling of our privacy and of our data. And I don't know if you have anybody seen the Great Hack, the movie on Netflix, which talks about how Cambridge Analytica has rigged elections in several countries, and how so that movie, I think, is extremely important to understand the consequences of how these players are managing our data and our identity. Now, we could say that if our data is going to be sold, it would be great to have a say on that. And blockchain enables data setization, which is the ability to control our data with software such as Uport or 3box, and then to sell it. I mean, if I want to sell my data, I will tell you what I'm going to sell and what's the price, which is something quite revolutionary for the industry we're on, where everything is for free. So the implications of this are, first of all, well, I think that it will be, users will have more power, and therefore probably as marketers will have less power, or at least that it will be more expensive to market to them, where people are able to decide what's the value of their personal data. So another way in which blockchain, I think blockchain will revolutionize search marketing is with new monetization models focused on users. And I have an example here, which is the social network Steemit, where people are paid to create content. And also DTube, which is like the YouTube or Steemit. So here we can see this user posted getting shape without realizing it, and people have been paying for this valuable content. So if you go to Steemit, you will be able to see a lot of content creators that get paid for different content instead of relying on traffic like we do on our websites. Also, I talked about Brave Browser before, and Brave Browser has a token, which is Brave Rewards, which give you very little, some cryptocurrency for incentivized actions. So if you watch an ad or if you do some actions that are valuable, they will give you a small amount of cryptocurrency, which you can then turn into money. So again, why is this important for us? So I think there is a fundamental change of paradigm, another tricky word, paradigm, between paying for traffic than paying for content creation. I mean, we say all the time that content is king, but if we actually have to pay to people to create that content, well, then it will be actually king when we have to pay our users to do that. And another very important implication within blockchain is decentralized hosting. So we can see here in this map that 67% of the world experience as censored internet, right? And that might not be strange in the case of Russia or China, but the UK is also there. You know, the UK, that country that suspended parliament, yeah, it's there. And it's under the pervasive category, which is when governments censor content to keep social values or national interest or political stability. So there we are, very progressive. And the easiest way of censoring a server is through location, right? But what blockchain brings into the table is decentralized hosting, peer-to-peer hosting. So in this system, you could have the same files at the same time in different locations. And there are two very interesting projects here, which is IPFS and Substratum, that are working with decentralized hosting. So what does that mean for you? Well, we know that server locations has an impact on loading time, and decentralized hosting actually is decreased. So just pretend that this slide is also correct. So decentralized hosting should decrease loading time, not the other way, and it should help page speed. And also, if your website belongs to a category that is censored, which could be, sometimes there are extremist views or guns, or many other times it's just news outlet. If your website belongs to any of these categories, with centralized hosting, you could probably increase the amount of visits to this website. So in summary, the four topics that I have referred to is we'll have less traffic, but with real people. We'll have people in control of the data, new monetization models, and less government control of the web. All of this is great. We'll go to blockchain will make of this better internet and a better world, unlike the banks I used to work for. And obviously, there are many challenges for this technology to take over. The main ones are scalability and interoperability. Because when we talk about blockchain, it's not one blockchain alone, but a conversion of blockchains that will have to adapt and work together. Also, it will take some time for mainstream adoption, which I would say between 5 and 10 years is a very young technology still. And a lot of products have quite bad UX and UI, and if you are thinking about changing industries, there is very bad SEO on blockchain, on the blockchain industry is extremely bad, so it's very promising if you want to get into this space. Now, about all the suggestions of the slide that I previously showed, I think that blockchain is the future of the internet and the future of search engines, and it will bring a lot of excitement and a lot of freedom within this space. Now, if you think that all of this is just theory, I would like to show you that there has been a very strong trend in the number of new companies for blockchain marketing technology from last year to this year. So almost a 3.5 times more, which shows how strong and how quickly change is happening. And it's me. I have included some slides at the end in case you want to, an appendix in case you want to get started with blockchain and would like to know more about this technology. You will have an appendix with material on how to do that. I can see that somebody is asleep in the front row. That's a great sign of, it's fine, you can go back. Yeah, and that's me. So thank you for listening to this.